Hope at Crafty Hope, and welcome! It is week 19 of hashtag Crafty Hope prompts. If you are a returning viewer, thank you. Welcome back. If you're new, I'll explain Crafty Hope prompts as fast as I can. These intros are getting really long. Before I do that, if you saw week 18's prompt project where I made the bookmarks, y'all look, I did get a laminator. Laminated these and they look so professional. Oh my gosh, they were really nice before, but now they are everything. They're sturdy, they're awesome. Yeah, we broke down and got the laminator, so now I want to laminate all the things. I was thinking about laminating these. I don't want to do that. Anyway, these are my prompt cards. I am building an entire prompt deck using a regular deck of playing cards, and each week I'm doing that by drawing 3 prompts and altering the card with these prompts, adding them to one side, just having a decoration on the other, and then later in the week, I'm using those same 3 prompts to do a larger, different project, like bookmarks or art journal pages, junk journal pages, tags, all kinds of things. And so that's all I'm doing. Today it is time to draw some new prompts. Before I do that, I invite you to play along with me, whether you are on week 1 and haven't done this before. I don't care. You don't even have to have a week 1. Just play along when you can and if you get inspired. You can draw your own prompts. I've got my full prompt list below of 156 prompts, or you can use the prompts I draw each week, however you want to play. I do ask that you use hashtag Crafty Hope prompts so that I can find this, and if you can, tag me at Crafty Hope pretty much all over. I'm not on TikTok, but I'm pretty much everywhere else at Crafty Hope. All right, let's draw this week's prompts for week 19. We're going to move this stuff out of the way and draw these prompts and get to it. If you do have any questions, please go ahead and ask me. I am happy to answer them. All right, prompt number 1 is going to be Asemic writing. So anybody can do that. I don't think you need any special materials or anything. All Asemic writing is some of that scribble-like writing that you can't quite make out what it is. Of course the dog's gonna bark, but there's just writing kind of somewhere scribbly. That's all that is. You can do that with a pen, a paintbrush, pencil, however. I just need to include some Asemic writing somehow. All right, easy peasy. Prompt number 2, oh y'all, I'm stacked up again here, is a ticket. All right. So that can be any kind of ticket. I don't have any up here to show you, but you could use those little tickets. You can get them at the Dollar Tree, or you often get them for raffle tickets. I've found some raffle type tickets in things. If you have old concert tickets or speeding tickets, or receipts even can be considered a ticket of some kind. Just a ticket. So if you have another idea for what a ticket could be. I've got a whole thing that's got like game tickets for like Coney Island and things like that that I was gifted. So those are some ideas. All right, last one. Week 19. How am I on week 19? All right, last one. Ooh, y'all. Stitch. All right, so that is easy enough. I can use my sewing machine and stitch something up with it. I think I actually have sewing machine in here, so I may, yeah, this one was sewing machine. So this can be hand stitched, or you can use a sewing machine, any kind of stitches, stitch something together real quick. Just some thread, a needle. That's all you need. Stitch. These are going to be fun. All right, I don't know how I'm going to do ticket on both sides of the card, but we'll figure that out. So I'm going to go grab some things, and I don't need much, and I'll be right back. All right, I've gathered a couple things. Asemic writing, I'm really not worried about. I'm pretty sure I'm probably going to use my cheap Dollar Tree pen here to do that and then wet it, but we'll see. Ticket, I have so many options here. I received a bunch of tickets in a giveaway from Mad Fox Studios, I believe, a while ago, and she sent me all kinds of tickets. So I have tons and tons of these like tearaway tickets. So I'm just leaving them here. But I also have as options, and I'm sure I probably have more, but I do have this stamp here. I'm trying to see what brand it is. I don't know what brand that is. Anyway, that looks like a ticket. So there's that. But I also have this Tim Holtz one that's a ticket. So I might use either of those instead of the actual ticket. We'll see. I just have to be inspired by the word ticket. And then the last thing is stitch. And I have, this is my little teapot pin cushion that is loaded up with different needles with thread and embroidery floss already on it. So I may use that, or I'll grab one of the needles that don't have something and grab some floss. I probably have some floating around here on the desk somewhere. Yeah, so we're gonna get to it. I have my card, and the first thing I'm gonna do on that card is collage on it. I like to go ahead and put a layer down of collage on my cards because they're slick and laminated and all of that, and it's really hard to get stuff to stick to them otherwise. So a layer of collage. If you've seen this, you know that's my jam. I could also, I've said this a billion times, I could gesso on it or use some sandpaper and rough it up first. But for me, going in with the collage is the best thing because then it's got something on it. It's ready to go. It's not that blank page. I am using matte gel medium to get my paper down. This is just an old book page. Just something that was on my desk, I think, from when I did my bookmarks. Actually, it was still sitting there. So, yeah, and you can see this one, I'm just kind of folding over and using that whole little top portion. I'm trying to think flattening things down and I'm trying not to get a whole lot of glue on top of things, but it is what it is. At some point in here, my battery did die. I don't know. I've looked at the editing of this and it doesn't look like it's a huge deal, but you'll see. I'm just collaging this paper down, and in a second I will I'm gonna just add a couple other little strips of paper that are in like my box of scrap papers. So yeah, and that piece that tore, I just glued it back down. It was still sticky. So I've got some different papers. I was going to put down a piece of handwritten paper, but knowing that Asemic writing was one of my prompts, I was like, I don't want other writing to compete with it. So yeah, I'm sticking with things that are either printed or, just blank. I really was just trying to get some texture. So I think I put down this piece of dictionary paper and then a piece of rust dyed paper, and that lends into something here in a little while. You'll see, because I can see the color of the rust dye peeking through later on. Yeah. I'm trying to get that down. All right. Yeah, and this is somewhere in here. My battery dies, and yeah. So here I am picking it back up. I was trying to show if none of that recorded what I had done because I was like, I don't know when it died. So I'm going to go ahead and start with this card. I knew I wanted to put that Asemic writing down, and I thought it was too busy there. The papers I layered are great for texture, but it didn't really give me a great surface for adding that Asemic writing. So I've put a little bit of that some Prima Marketing heavy white gesso, and I'm just scraping it down around on top of that collage. I don't want to white out the whole thing. I just kind of want to push it back a tiny bit. Yep, that's exactly what I'm doing. So I'll dry that gesso super quick just so that I'm not trying to write with it wet, but that would be a great way to add the Asemic writing, is to scratch into your wet paint. So that's an idea. I am using it's a cheap rollerball pen from the Dollar Tree. I love it because it does this bleedy thing. You'll see, I'm going to just get it to bleed a little bit. But you can see this is my version of Asemic writing. Other people do it much better. Mine is just a scribbly. It looks kind of like writing, but not really. And when I do it, I hold the pen way up at the top, so I don't have a whole lot of control over it. And that's all it is for me. And I love this. It's pretty fabulous. So do I try this or not? No, for some reason I decided I wanted to add more texture on top of this. I don't know what got into me, but I grabbed some masking tape and I am just going to layer it on top of itself in a couple spots. And y'all, there was the cats. There's cat hair on the edges of the tape that was having to pull off. Thankfully, I can see it because they're both dark cats, but cats. They've been burdensome. I took something up to a gallery to try out and the cats had rubbed against it and broke it. I was so embarrassed, y'all. Oh my gosh, I was so embarrassed. But what can you do? You love them. I decided to pull in some sprays. I hardly ever use my Lindy sprays, and I have a ton of them. So I've got that one in Rusty Lantern Lime, and I think that's like Azure Sea Azures or something. I will try to have those listed below. I don't think they're in the same set. Most of the Lindy sprays, I think you have to buy in sets, and I don't think those two are in the same set. But I'll try to link them if I can and have their names. So I get those down there, and y'all can see they pretty much made some of my my Asemic writing disappear, and whatever. It's, I've still got that color of it back there, but I really loved how the color of the sprays gathered right around the edges of the tape. It's really awesome. So I picked out this little 10-cent stamp here. I like, first off, that says 10 cents. Nothing is 10 cents anymore. It's pretty amazing. That's got to be kind of old, but it matched the colors I had going on in the background pretty nicely. And I have a little piece of lace and grabbed this yearbook picture that I just thought was kind of cute. And so I futz with this forever and ever, y'all. I'm going to tear this lace down. I do cut out some of my futzing because I moved those 3 pieces around on this card for like, I don't know, 5 minutes. And so it's just 3 little pieces that I know I'm going to stack with the lace on the bottom, and then the ticket, and then the photo. I don't know what's wrong with me. So yeah, I'm going to move that all around. And when I come back, I am coming in with some, it's an orangey yellow, almost rusty color. Like I said, I was going to bring that rust in there because I could see in that upper right, you can kind of see a little bit of rusty color poking through on my card. So that's just some embroidery floss in that. And I tied a knot in the end. And I'm going to make some French knots. I've got a couple of videos where I do that. Hopefully you can kind of see them here. But basically you pull your thread through your substrate. You're going to wrap your thread around your needle several times. The more times you wrap, the bigger your knot. I'm just wrapping it twice. 1, 2. I'll go back in to my substrate in a like slightly different spot, and then pull it through, and that makes a cute little French knot. And I'm just going to do 3 of these. I just kind of wanted the texture and this little pop of color on here because everything else on here is kind of matchy. So I thought this was a nice little bright pop on here. I was having, you see, I ended up tacking everything down with my Uhu glue stick just to kind of keep it from moving around. I lost some of my 10-cent number there because, yeah, I didn't tack it down first and things slipped. But it's okay. I know it's there. These are my prompt cards. It doesn't matter if everybody else sees them or not. So I've got my 3 little knots, and I'm just going to tie this off super quick so that it doesn't come loose. But I'm going to grab that matte gel medium again and paint it on the back of this and try to get this to stick down. It didn't really want to stick. I think maybe it was that lace, or maybe a heavier medium would have worked, but yeah, I need to get some more matte gel soon. So I will paint this down, and I didn't really need to tie the knot as much as I did because, I'm covering this in matte gel, but it's all right. So I'll let this dry I'll let this dry while I go look for a sentiment, and I find this little sticker collection. Y'all, I don't know where it came from. I think I got it at a thrift store with a bunch of like scrapbook papers and stuff. And it's just a little set of stickers. You'll see it here in a second when I finally stopped futzing with this. It was a big futz extravaganza. So yeah, there's that little sticker collection, and I found the word just lovely. I thought this little girl is precious and lovely, just kind of suits this whole little stack and everything. So I'll finally find a place. Yeah, see what I say? Futzing extravaganza. I'll stick that down and add a little bit of glue to it to make sure it stays. It wanted to stick to the picture, but not the card at all. And then I've decided I've lost too much of I wanted to frame this up. So I've got distressed ink in just black soot, and then I'll go around the edges. And then I'll decide that I've lost some of my Asemic writing, and that upper left corner looks really lonely and blank. And I'll grab that pen again and do just some small of that Asemic writing up there. And again, wet it just so I have that little bit of bleediness that I love. y'all, I've said it a million times, if something is water reactive, I'm going to water react it. So I flipped over to the other side, and now I want to do something kind of simple. So I've grabbed that big ticket stamp that I've got and a piece of dictionary paper that I had been using to blot stuff on. And I'm just going to ink it up with the black soot that's already sitting on my desk. And so it's not a great stamped image because it is distress. So it's got that distress look, which is fine. I like distress grungy. That's totally fine with me. And I'm going to cut down my words. I cut that out of here, so you don't have to watch me just cut around all of my prompts. Asemic writing, that prompt is a little big for this. It fits inside of it, but not completely in that frame, but it's okay. So I'll use my Oohoo to glue those three down and then cut my ticket out of the dictionary paper. So yeah, I decided it was a great way to frame this up and get the ticket in here without losing a lot of it. I suppose I could have taken one of those other tickets and glued them down on one of them, but I don't know. This way I got to try something different and think about what I'm going to do for my project on Saturday. So I've got this cut out and I've got to add stitch and Asemic writing to this. So I'm thinking about it. And first, that back of that card looks really boring. So I'll add some gesso, just putting it down the same way I did before by scraping it around. I don't need much here. I just want to push those words back a tiny bit. And while that gesso is still kind of wet, I'll spray those two sprays onto the card. So you'll see all of that. This is just me, trying to not make anything too busy, but it's got to be interesting. Oh, and when I sprayed these sprays, I just sprayed I don't know, there was something the way the colors combined on this side that was a little different from the other side. I don't know what it was, and I really liked it. So I'll have to try it. So I did, when I picked those two colors out, I tried to pick colors that I knew would go together. I wouldn't have picked like a red with the green because that would have made some mud. But the blue with the green worked out really nicely. So once I got that dry, I felt like the ticket still needed a little something else. So I'm going to reach into my bucket of fabric scraps and grab a piece of cloth. You see me just like, what am I going to do? Oh, first I've got to add my Asemic writing. So I've got my chunky pencil out, and this doesn't add much, but just a little touch of texture. You can't hardly see this unless you really, really look, but I know it's there. So that's all that really matters, right? Like I said, these cards are for me. Because I didn't want to add with that dark of that ticket. I didn't really want to add anything that was too dark. That was just my thinking. So there's that piece of fabric, and I'm going to cut it down to just the hair of a little bit bigger than that ticket, just so that the frayed edges stick around the outside of the ticket. I don't know. It just felt right. And I'm only going to use my Oohoo glue stick to glue that paper to that fabric. I'm really just wanting to tack it down before I add in the stitch portion of it on this side. And I thought I was just going to underline each of the prompts on here with the stitch. But no, I'm going to end up slow stitching really. I've got this pale mossy green, it's more like olivey, I guess, whatchamacallit, embroidery floss that was already on a needle, and it kind of matches that color that's in that background there. So I thought this is perfect, but y'all, it almost disappears on here. You'll see it hopefully in the photos at the end, but it's not the best color. I don't know what I wish. Maybe a blue would have been. Blue's always better, isn't it? Blue's the best. I am going to speed this up. I'm not going to cut it out, but I slow stitch basically 2 lines between the words. So there's 2 sections of a double stitch and then 1 stitch at the top and 1 stitch at the bottom. So you'll hopefully see that it really adds some nice texture to this, and adding the fabric directly onto the back of this really made it really super easy to slow stitch this. So I've sped this up quite a bit here so y'all can see that I'm doing it, but slow stitching, you see, it's just kind of an up and down stitch, and you pull at the other end, and then do it again, just up and down through your like I said, with the fabric, it really helped. I'm afraid if I had tried to do that with just the paper, it would have torn straight through it. Yeah. So here I am doing the one at the bottom, and I guess one of my words was coming up, and then I'll do one at the top, and when I get to the end, I pull it a little too tight, so I have to loosen up things here in just a second because everything like tried to bunch. So they're all kinked up, so I'll have to turn my fabric over and loosen up one of the threads. So then I'm not even tying a knot on this backside, y'all. I'm just pulling the thread into the fabric, making sure I don't go into the paper, and cutting it close to the fabric because I'm going to use the matte gel to glue this down. I'll also, I'm going to ink the edges again just to frame that up and bring that black in somewhere else. Oh, some splatters might have been nice there. Too late, too late. I will also take my ink pen there and write the number 19 where it's got an NO on the card for the ticket number, and I will write that on there. Now, once I get this done, I feel like the words don't quite stand out enough on this. Like, they just disappear on there. So I grab Distress ink in Walnut Stain and a water brush and try to add a little bit of color to them so they'll stand out a bit more. It's not a huge thing, but it made me feel better to at least try something. But I love this card, y'all. I think it is so pretty. I hope you like it too. I hope you enjoy these prompts, or at least the prompts that you pull if you're playing along. If you like this, make sure to give me a thumbs up. Hit that subscribe button if you're not already subscribed. Leave a comment too, y'all. It really helps me get seen and have other people play along with us with these prompts. So, all right. If you have any questions, let me know, and I will see y'all soon. Thanks for watching. Bye.